Well, next we have Dr. Chioma in the building, and she is actually the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Cottey College. How you doing today, Dr. Chioma?
I'm doing well, dear. Nice to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. Now, can you explain to us a little bit about your high school experience and why you chose the college you went to?
Well, that's very interesting. I actually went to a high school that's a women's only high school.
Wow.
And so it's interesting that I'm now working for a women's only institution.
Right.
And so I had a great experience there. And my college was the University of Texas at Austin. Great college, or great university, but it's wonderful to be at a women's only institution because I know the impact that such institutions make on women, and I'm all about empowering our young women.
Right. So since you started off within an all-girls college, so you would say that was maybe an extra push since you were already used to it, Cottey was like a perfect fit for you?
Absolutely. And that's why I came to Cottey, because I believe in their mission. Cottey is about empowering, educating, inspiring young women, making sure that they take leadership roles very early. That's something we support. It's all about global awareness, global education. In fact, all our second-year students go on an international trip that we pay for. They don't have to pay for it. So that is wonderful. And so it's such a wonderful mission. And it's something that I'm all about. I have a doctoral portfolio in women's studies, so it's just a natural fit
so that's
for
just
me.
You,
Yes,
it's like
it's all
second,
about women.
Right, and of course you're a woman, so I guess that helps a little bit too.
Yes.
G-Rap, you got questions?
This is Gabby, and Miss Chioma, why do you think leadership is such an important aspect at a women's college?
It's very important. It's actually a good thing when you see our first-year students, when they come in, they're very shy, but by the time they get to their second year, you see them taking on leadership roles. We want them to be able to go out there and actually feel confident in themselves, feel that self-efficacy, that they can be anything, they can be anybody. They can take up CEO roles, they can be in any leadership role without feeling intimidated. And so this is important, especially for young women.
Right.
We don't want them feeling as if they are less than. And so for an institution like Cottey, this is all we do to empower our women to be leaders when they graduate. And not just being leaders in terms of being CEOs, but actually when they are in any group, understanding that when something is going wrong, that they can step up, even if they are not the managers, that they can step up and say, I have the solution. Maybe this will be something that could be helpful. And I think that's a very wonderful aspect of anybody's education. And that's what we do well at Cottey College.
Resident up in here? All right, so I have a question for both Miss Chioma and Janae. So being at an all-girls school and growing up, Miss Chioma, you talked about actually going to an all-girls high school. Have you ever cross paths with a guy that maybe tried to call you a feminist or anything of that sort, or would you call yourself a feminist?
I do call myself a feminist. I think people actually give feminism a bad name, but it's really all about making sure that women have equal rights. And it's not a dirty word in my mind. So I am a feminist, and if you call me a feminist, I will embrace that because I'm all about making sure that our young women feel comfortable in their own skin, that they have a voice.
Janae, what about you?
I completely agree with Dr. Chioma. Being called a feminist is not a bad thing. Believing in equality for women is not a bad thing. And working towards that is great. So.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Feminism is not a bad thing, ladies. Please. Speaking of corporate world, Dr. Chioma, can you explain to us how your experience going to an all-girls school helped you to get to the place you are now?
Well, you know that women's colleges build confidence, and we have several studies to show that nearly 1/4 of women who are Congress members got their degrees from all women's college. In fact, even CEOs that are called rising stars, 30% of them actually got their baccalaureate degrees from women's colleges. And so this is a place where we actually have the data to show it. Women's College Coalition had another study that, interestingly enough, said that women reported, at least women who graduated from women's colleges, reported being more satisfied in terms of academics, personally, and developmentally, So we build women who are going to be strong, who will be confident, and the research backs it up that they are successful, that sometimes they're actually more successful than students who went to co-ed. And that's not to say anything bad about co-ed institutions, but there's a special kind of confidence that we instill in women who are in women's colleges. They're not easily distracted because they are there to study and they face their studies, and that's what it's all about. And so when they come out, they are strong. They're not afraid. They're not intimidated by anybody because they've always been used to speaking out in the classroom. They don't have to say, well, I don't know what I would say, and that boy will not like me anymore. And so they are always confident and comfortable in their own skin. And that's something that we value.
Right. So you would would you agree that going to mixed colleges could possibly divert the growth and confidence of a woman?
Well, I'm not going to be here and say that there's anything negative about going to a co-ed. I went to University of Texas. It's co-ed, and I got a good education. But the fact still remains that those students who go to all girls schools actually have a little bit more confidence. There's that little extra thing that they get out of that kind of institution. There's a sisterhood. It builds them personally and professionally. When they get out there in the corporate world, they're not afraid because they're used to being in that environment where they're all about speaking out.
Right. I understand that. Ms. Robin and them getting happy back there. We understand.